Greetings, friends. This Shabbos is the 24th yard site of my beloved mother, Malka Bas Aaron. She was a heroic lady. It takes courage to confront oneself, especially if you're living the good life, but she did it. She was a straight person, yashar, as they say in Hebrew. Her maiden name was Salant, S-A-L-A-N-T, a familiar name among observant Jews because Rabbi Yisroel from Salant was one of the greatest Jews of the 19th century. He created the Musar movement, a spiritual orientation through which one learns to examine one's life under a microscope in an effort to correct every flaw and maximize loyal service to Hashem. To some extent, we are all guided by ego and self-interest, which colors everything we do. Our actions and thoughts tend to be shaped by what we perceive as good for us. For us, ego bathes everything in the light of self-interest. But service of Hashem requires that we see things in a clear light of truth. Maybe that is why the first step in creation is Vayehi, or let there be light. The Torah view is unclouded by personal consideration. A judge who takes a bribe is disqualified because he cannot see straight. My mother grew up in the almost Victorian world of old New York. Yes, her parents were born in Europe, but when they came to America as children, they quickly fell into an assimilated lifestyle in which being an American was valued more highly than being a Jew. Being American meant looking American and adhering to American values. Above all, that implied financial success and adopting the belief in the technological revolution, which that culture believed and believes is the road to progress, what they call progress. My grandparents and then my parents joined the Ethical Culture Society, whose creed is, quote, the place where men meet to seek the highest is holy ground. Their problem is they have no idea what the highest means. The Western world thinks it's going upward, echoing the fantasy of Darwin, who claimed that mankind came from apes. The Torah looks at the world in exactly the opposite way. To us, the course of history is Yeridas Hadoros, meaning that each generation is a step lower than the previous generation. Do we have anyone in this world who can even come near Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, or King David? We can't even approach the greatness of the Gedolim of the last century, people like the Chavetz Chaim, Rabbi Moshe Feinstein Zatzal, Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky Zatzal, Rabbi Aaron Kotler Zatzal. May their memories be for a blessing. Imagine growing up like my mother in the great New York metropolis, submerged in the glitter of empty progress, culture, and sophistication. In all this glitz, my mother had a son, me. I could not tolerate this pretend world as I struggled to break out and find the truth. Mother always respected me. And then I found my Bashert, my partner in life, and together we searched until we found the Torah and raised a family. Mother had the courage to recognize that our lifestyle was true and eternal. The courage to see that the way she had grown up was not based on reality. In her 70s, she had the first Pesach of her life when she accompanied us to Israel, the Holy Land, to visit our oldest daughter, Sarah, who was in seminary. And after I brought up the issue, Mother courageously chose Jewish burial, in the process convincing my father to do the same. This took courage, especially because not all the family agreed. On the day of her first yahrzeit, 23 years ago, our daughter Miriam had a dream that Mother came to her from the world of truth with a glowing face. Yes, Mother is now in the world of truth, and her courage has been rewarded. She was always a salanter. She was always willing to examine her actions and question whether she was doing the right thing. That is the legacy of Rabbi Yisrael Salanter. She never allowed herself to treat others with arrogance. She would rather put herself down. Because of her, I learned to examine my life, and I was able to escape from the world of falsehood in which I was raised. And so we remember this great lady on her yahrzeit. I want to add that the yahrzeit of my wife's mother, Rachel Bas Yaakov, is also coming up soon, just after Shavuos. She was every bit as courageous as my mother. She grew up in a similar milieu with similar challenges, and she also overcame them to embrace Torah and our eternal lifestyle. May their memories be a blessing, and may their souls rise ever higher in the world of truth. Good Shabbos.